Anyway, Ben, what are you here for? You kind of spooked me out with that fox costume.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is I feel like we spend a lot of time asking ourselves what the fox says, and I think we need to spend more time thinking about what our HTML elements say about our page.
Why didn't they put that in the song, Ben?
Well, they had it, but then it seemed, limited, like niche target audience there. And some folks just didn't get it. The middle schoolers that the song was targeted for, they just didn't really get it,
Big
that's
middle
okay.
school coming in again and saying ridiculous.
I don't know if you need to adjust my camera or if I need to adjust my camera because I'm looking wildly out of frame.
I mean, honestly, with this whole like rapid fire thing, it's probably going to be. That would be awesome. Yeah. Okay. Because if I adjust you, then the next it's a back and forth thing. So Anyway, what should we do here, Ben?
Yeah. So I figured, one of my favorite Halloween activities, I'm sure we all have participated in this tradition, is trading cards. You're looking perplexed, like this isn't a thing you've done. Halloween trading cards.
Oh, yeah, man. I always just going door to door and saying, you got a Mickey Mantle? You got a Charizard lady? That's
trick or trading, right?
Trick or trading. That sounds like trick or treating. Sure, I'm in.
Okay. So I have actually sent you in the Discord. Don't worry, I've got more gags, all like pre-scripted and everything. I just for you. I sent you a link in the super spooky secret channel for a code pen to take a look at. We are going to build ourselves a trading card for Halloween monsters, a trick or trading card, if you will. And here's the thing, right? Uh-huh. You might be wondering, before Alex pulls this up on screen, which classic Halloween monster are we going to make a trading card for? Because, I was inspired by like all the sports cards out there. You would figure baseball cards, maybe we would pick a vampire because they have a high batting average or something. But no, I actually
all right, bye. You're all in good hands.
Right. Yeah, it's 20 minutes already, huh?
It's Ben's show now. Ben just crushed it.
But no, so I decided I would pick actually the most athletic Halloween monster ever, and that Halloween monster is actually Dr. Victor Frankenstein. And you might go, Ben, what are you thinking?
The Doctor?
Yes, the Doctor. I mean,
not Frankenstein's monster, but the Doctor.
I mean, the Doctor was the real monster the whole time. But also, here's the thing. No one knows. I actually had to read this book in high school, and for one thing, it's actually way more boring than you would think. But the second thing is that no one tells you is that Dr. Victor Frankenstein is actually like super cut. Like, dude is ripped. He is shredded. He's a bodybuilder.
You might be reading a different version. Did you pick this version up in a supermarket checkout, Ben? That might be a different version. Was he on the cover without a shirt? Because, I mean, I'm not judging. It just might not be the Mary Shelley version is all I'm saying.
Romance literature is all the same. No, but the thing that...
Life just says because he's a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Was that going to be your joke?
I did, in fact, already say that.
Oh, dang it. I missed it.
I know. It's one of those blink and you miss it gags. Yeah, no, he's a bodybuilder. Anyways, sorry, now that I've absolutely broken Alex, how do you do, audience? I hope you're doing well. I'm so sorry. Blink twice if he's got you captured. I don't know what you're doing in his house. I don't know why we've all been tasked to join.
I offered them candy. That's why they're here. Should we look at this code pen?
Let's make this code pen. Yes. Right. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so I have started, and I figure we actually will likely end up doing, I have to sit in the right position, the right angle this time. Yeah, so I figured we could do a bit of freestyling here. I kind of scaffolded out a playing card. I want to show you today my favorite HTML elements, and they're my favorite because I think they're really a bit of an underdog. They've been in the spec for ages, but no one really seems to know they exist. And these elements are going to be the DL element.
Nice.
So I've written a blog post about this, which I think Alex can find for you all. Actually, no, I've got it pulled up. I'll stick it in the chat.
We'll drop it after or now. That's cool.
That works. There we go. So yeah, so we are going to spend some time building these today. Actually, Alex, do you know what DL stands for?
Detailed list? No, that doesn't make sense.
That's good. I was gonna go for devil's lettuce.
You're fantastic.
No. So it's actually the description list. It used to stand for definition list, but these days it stands for description list.
Okay.
So a description list element, or DL element, is used to represent sets of name value pairs. This is actually a pretty common pattern, and we're going to just kind of see how flexible it can be. And so, yeah, I figure we can kind of get started. We can start to populate some of the details here. So we're going to stick this we're going to start by creating a DL under this like H1 that we've got in our article.
Okay. In the
I'm sorry, H2.
Cool.
The H2. Everything's going to fit on the back.
Right here. Awesome.
There we go. Yeah, so we're going to start with a DL. And this is going to be the description list. This is akin to using a UL for an unordered list or an OL for an ordered list. Yeah, so we, as you can see, like nothing has happened. We need to define the content that goes in it. And this content is going to be sets of names and values. Now, the thing is, name and value already mean things in HTML land, particularly if you're used to forms. So instead, the HTML spec asks us to call these terms and details. So we're going to create a term, which is going to be a DT element. And this is going to be like the key or the name for our value. So what's a kind of detail? Because like now that I'm getting you super invested in trick-or-treating cards, what are some like neat factoids about your favorite Halloween monsters that you would be interested in having?
Their RBIs, I think, is the most important stat. I'm very big on Moneyball type stuff with monsters. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. This is where we reach the limit of my sports knowledge. What is an RBI?
I'm trying on the fly to think of a funny monster acronym for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna look to chat. Chat's got it. The baseball acronym is runs batted in, but maybe.
Okay.
Runs batted in. Screams per minute 9. Okay, we're going with Alan's. Alan.
Screams per minute. Let's absolutely do that. So we've got our term here, and we've got now we want to provide a value. And the thing is, Victor Frankenstein does a lot of screaming in the book Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus. But those screams are not usually screams of terror. They're usually like, it's alive and what have I done, which I guess is more of an existential horror. Anyways, let's go ahead and define a DD. This is going to be our description detail. So this is the value that's associated with your DT. And how many screams per minute do you think Dr. Victor Frankenstein might produce? What was kind of his score here?
Yeah, per minute. I mean, you just said he only screams a couple times, so I'm gonna go like 0.5 at the most, right? Like he's not even. He might scream like once every 2 minutes.
All right,
but creating, he's creating screams though. So let's go for about like a solid like 12, because of what he hath unleashed.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that's kind of horrible and horrifying about Victor Frankenstein. Not just the fact that he kind of created life, but also the fact that he was like a fairly significant misogynist, as well as he married his adopted sister. So many screams per minute. I get it.
We're gonna up this to about I think 17 might be more on par.
That's absolutely yikes here for sure.
Yes.
Okay, let's add a couple more details in here. So what do you think are a couple of other interesting factoids you might want to know about your Halloween monsters as you're collecting these cards?
I think you got to go like basics of height and weight probably, right? Just general stats.
So let's go ahead and we're talking about someone who basically is like working on his graduate. So I don't even know if he's a doctor yet. So I'm thinking tall, lanky, and super scrawny. So let's go ahead and go for maybe like, he's probably 6 foot, that seems fair. And his weight, like we'll probably make this on the lighter end. Dude's probably pushing maybe, let's say like 120 pounds,
Yeah. I love how we're giving it to Victor Frankenstein.
I mean, he is the true monster of the book.
He deserves it. Yeah, no,
he deserves it.
I'm here for it.
Terrible dad.
I'm here for it.
He's a terrible dad. Yeah.
Ben, I'm going to have you back for Father's Day and we'll rip him again.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So, yeah, let's come up with a couple more details. And I think specifically now, what I want to show you is let's kind of talk through some of his interests. Okay. Dr. Victor Frankenstein has several interests. So let's go ahead and create a DT for our term here. And let's call this interests. And we're going to have several interests going on here. Let's go ahead and put bodybuilding. You know, that's the obvious gag that, yeah. Bodybuilding. He nearly dying in Antarctica. This no one tells you the book is like 3 layers deep of narrative framing. It's the worst. And let's go ahead and put in another one for like mad science. He's a big fan of mad science. Yeah, so as we can see here, and you've kind of naturally picked up on this, you can have multiple details, description details. These are the DD elements to one DT. So that's fine. And in fact, and we're not going to get into this terribly deeply, but you can have one-to-many terms followed by one-to-many details. They don't necessarily have to line up. It's not necessarily a one-to-many like relationship between terms and details. It's just like several terms followed by several details.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So, okay, this is nice and all, but as you can see, our card isn't really that appealing. You know, like if you got this, like this would look like, you know, someone had printed out these cards around back of the grocery store and said like, hey, Alex, do you want like a trading card, right? Like not very appealing.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and work on styling some of the stuff up. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you coming through.
Alan, once he gets started, he just does not stop, and I love it. Never stop.
So yeah, let's go ahead and style our elements. This is one of the things I actually don't get into a whole lot in the blog post because I'm more focused on the semantic aspect itself. But I heard folks here like some CSS, and there's not enough CSS going on today. So let's go ahead and add some styles. Mostly the stuff that you're looking at here is all kind of scaffolding for like handling card shapes. Like let's just kind of do the stuff at the top of the of this code block here. Cool. So let's go ahead and the first thing is I want to correct the margins on our DD elements because these margins were originally kind of coined when DL was first created, and DL was initially meant to be a glossary. Remember, like it was originally meant to be like a list of definitions, and now it represents any key value pairs, but it still kept that kind of glossary-like default appearance. So let's go ahead and unstyle those margins. So let's go ahead and create a style for DD elements. And here we're going to do margin inline start 0.
Cool.
And yeah, so that should, so that left aligns everything. Now, I know folks likely are very, very done with dealing with IE support, but in this case, the IE support is actually simple enough that I would say it's worth including for a bit anyways. So let's go ahead and do margin left 0 as well, because that's the default style that Internet Explorer applies. So it's simple enough that I'm not too worried about it. So maybe the next thing we want to do at this point is maybe make these details all kind of inline. So that it might be like the term is in bold, and then afterwards, like it's got the value, right? So that like the details all kind of exist on one line. Do you want to kind of take a crack at styling those that way?
I'm trying to think how you would do that and then return on the next one. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll go ahead and introduce the next bit, which is, you know, it is this. So what you're seeing here and kind of what we've talked about semantically, this is for a long time, the only way you could do a DL was the only children could be DTs followed by DDs, followed by more DTs, followed by more DDs. And enough people kind of spoke up and said it would be really nice if we could group the DTs and the DDs together for styling hooks. Right. And so eventually the standards kind of relented and they let you group those DT, DD groups in a div So let's go ahead and just put in some wrapper divs in our
okay,
market.
gotcha.
That's gonna really help us out here. And in fact, I think folks who kind of know my brand will probably figure that, I usually, like, I'm not a fan of like introducing potentially unnecessary divs.
Unless it's for a button.
And wrapper elements. I mean, yeah. But like just wrapper elements in general, I feel like you very rarely need them. However, with a DL, anytime I'm doing a DL, I almost definitely want to group the DTs and the DDs anyways. So I actually just kind of default go to wrapping those groups in divs. So that's my hot tip for you is like, that's the habit I fall into is going ahead and doing those wrappers. Cool.
Got it. We are, unfortunately, Ben, my forefathers have instilled a deep demand for punctuality and only allowing trick-or-treaters to hang out for 18 minutes.
18 minutes, huh?
I think that, that is unfortunately. Was there anything else we wanted to check out before I have to send you off to the next house to get some more candy?
Yeah, let's do one quick trick, which is, and it's not going to look pretty by any means, but one of my favorite tips is comma separating a list of DDs. I always get those mixed up. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create a new style. This is going to be DL : what is it? Actually, no, I want DL not first child. That's what I want. And then after.
Is it parentheses first child?
Yes. And then : first child. I'm sorry, and it's last child. So not last child and then after. That's what it is.
Wait, which one's last child? The second one or the first one?
So you won't need that second first child. It's just DL, not last child.
Cool.
And then you'll do your after. And so it's going to be : last child there. And then, so in the parentheses, : last child.
Thank you.
Yes. And now you're going to have an after element. And here you can put like content is a comma. And that way you can comma separate. So that way, like your formatting automatically adjusts based on how many elements you've got on the list. You can add more. You don't have to adjust the commas. And it's keeping this very presentational. So yeah, I think there's a lot more work to be done to make this look more appealing. But we're well on our way to building trick-or-trading cards of our own. So that is the DL element. And if you want to learn more, check the blog post in the chat.
Awesome.
Whoa,
Ben,
that's some scary stuff.
Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. Chat, give Ben a round of applause. We don't have any confetti right now, but thank you, Ben. Great to see you. Happy Halloween, buddy.
Happy Halloween.
Take your candy and get out of here. See you later. Bye.